My name is Eleanor. I had 4 babies between 1972 and 1978. 2 boys and 2 girls. All 4 of them slept through the night by the time they were 4 months old. All 4 of them sat happily through family dinners by the time they were 1 year old. All 4 of them are grown now with babies of their own, and not one of my grandchildren is being raised the way mine were. That is why I started this channel. Not to criticize my daughters, or your daughters, or you. I have watched young mothers in my family struggle with babies who should not be that hard to settle. I have realized slowly that the reason they are struggling is not that their babies are different. It is that nobody ever told them what we used to do. Today, I want to walk you through the 10 daily routines that made my babies easy. Not perfect, easy. There is a difference, and I think we have forgotten it. Number 10, I woke them at the same hour every morning, 6:30 every day, including Saturdays, including the days after a rough night when I would have given anything to sleep another hour myself. I learned this from my own mother. She told me when I brought my first baby home in 1972 that the day had to start at the same time or nothing else would work. I did not understand why until I tried it. By the 3rd week, my son's eyes were open at 6:25 every morning before I had even reached his crib. When I watch young mothers now let their babies sleep until 9 or 10, I want to tell them gently that they are giving up the only anchor that holds the whole day together. But I do not, because nobody asked me. So I am telling you instead. Number 9, I took them outside every single morning. By 8 in the morning, my babies were on the front porch in the pram. In summer, on a blanket in the backyard. In winter, bundled up for 15 minutes of cold, fresh air before we came back inside. I did not know about circadian rhythms in 1972. I did not know that morning sunlight reset their internal clocks. I did not know that the soil bacteria they encountered on the grass built their immune systems for life. I only knew that my mother had done it, and that babies who got morning air were calmer babies. I was right, even though I did not know why I was right. Number 8, I put them on the floor. Not in a bouncer, not in a swing, not in one of those vibrating chairs that did not exist yet, but would have horrified me anyway. On the floor, on a clean blanket, on their stomachs. 3 times a day, starting at 6 weeks. They would push their heads up, they would push their arms up, they would get frustrated, and then they would get strong. By 4 months, all 4 of mine were rolling over. By 6 months, they were crawling. I see my grandchildren spending their waking hours strapped into things, and I see their parents wondering why the milestones are arriving late. The milestones are not late. The floor is missing. That is all. Number 7, the afternoon walk. Every single day between 1 and 3, I put the baby in the pram and we walked. To the post office, to the corner store, around the block twice if I had nothing to buy. The walk lasted 30 minutes, sometimes an hour, and the baby always fell asleep on the way home. That nap in the pram was the deepest sleep of the day. I did not know then that motion regulates an infant's nervous system. I did not know that fresh afternoon air consolidates sleep. I knew that the walk worked, so I did the walk. When my daughter tells me she has groceries delivered now so she does not have to leave the house, I understand. The world has made it easy not to walk. But the baby paid for that convenience, and so did she. Notice what I'm telling you. None of these routines required equipment. None of them required training. None of them required me to read a book or download an app. What they required was that I treated my baby's day as my responsibility, not as something I could outsource to a brand or a consultant or a piece of advice from a stranger on the internet. My responsibility, every day. From the moment I brought him home, that is the part that has been lost. The routines are just the consequences of that one underlying choice. Let me keep going. Number 6, I let them play alone, in the playpen, on a blanket on the living room floor, with 2 wooden toys, not 7. 30 minutes at a time, twice in the morning, twice in the afternoon. I was always within earshot. I was never far away. But I did not narrate their play. I did not hand them a new toy every 2 minutes. I did not get down on the floor and entertain them every waking moment of their lives. They learned to focus. They learned to be alone with their own minds. By age 2, my oldest could stack blocks for 45 minutes without looking up. He is 51 now, and he still has the longest attention span of anyone in our family. I do not think that is a coincidence. Number 5, I gave them the same nap times every day. 9 in the morning, 1 in the afternoon. The morning nap was 45 minutes. The afternoon nap was 2 hours. The times were as fixed as bedtime. 5 minutes before nap time, I started the wind down. I closed the curtains. I lowered the radio. I picked the baby up and walked quietly to his crib. Within 2 weeks, his body knew that those signals meant sleep, and he started preparing for it before I even reached the door of the nursery. When my granddaughter naps at random times now, in random places, for random lengths, I bite my tongue. But I know what is happening. Her circadian rhythm has nowhere to anchor itself. The naps that fragment also fragment the night. Number 4, I bathed them every other night. Not every night, every other night. My mother taught me that daily bathing dried out a baby's skin and stripped the oils that protected him from rashes. So on bath nights, I bathed them. On non-bath nights, I wiped them down with a warm cloth, face, neck, hands. The diaper area, that was enough. My babies did not have eczema. None of the 4 of them. None of my grandmothers had eczema either. It is not a coincidence that this condition exploded after the daily bath became the rule. Number 3, I held them, but I also put them down. For the first 6 weeks, I held my babies almost constantly. They were small and new and they needed it. I knew that. But after 6 weeks, I started putting them down on a blanket in the bassinet for 10 minutes in the playpen. I always came back. They learned that. Within 2 months, my baby knew that being put down was not the end of the world. He knew his mother always returned. And because he knew it, he could sleep in his own crib, settle himself when he was fussy, and tolerate me leaving the room without falling apart. The babies I see today who have never been put down are babies who cannot be put down. Their parents made them that way without meaning to. And the separation anxiety that follows lasts for years. Number 2, the evening followed the same sequence every single night. 5 o'clock, I started dinner. 5:30, the baby was in the high chair eating. 6 o'clock, the family ate together. 6:30, gentle play in the living room. 7 o'clock, bath if it was a bath night. 7:30, the baby was asleep. It never changed. Weeknights and weekends were the same. Holidays were the same. My babies knew by the time they were 6 weeks old what came next at every moment of the evening. They could not tell time, but they could smell dinner cooking. They could anticipate the bath. By the time I laid them down, their nervous systems were already on the way to sleep. The witching hour that my daughter talks about, that hour of inconsolable fussiness between 5 and 7, was not a thing in my house. My babies were calmer in the evening than at any other point in the day, because they knew what was happening next. Number 1, I treated my baby's day as my responsibility. This is the one that produced all the others. I did not wake up wondering what I was going to do with the baby that day. I did not respond to whatever happened. I built the structure first, before he came home from the hospital, and I held it for the next 2 years. The wake time, the fresh air, the tummy time, the walk, the independent play, the naps, the bath schedule, the holding and the putting down, the evening sequence. None of these were techniques I had to remember. They were the natural expressions of one belief I held about myself and about my baby. The belief was that my baby would be calmer, easier, and happier if his day had a shape. So I gave him a shape every single day for the first 2 years of his life. By the time he started talking, his nervous system had been trained by 2 years of consistent rhythm, and it never let go. When that belief broke down, somewhere between when my children had their babies and now, the routines became disconnected from each other. Each one became optional. Without the underlying belief that her day was my job to shape, none of the routines held. You can rebuild them. You can rebuild every single one, but you cannot buy the belief. You have to decide the same way I did in 1972 that your baby's day is yours to shape. And then you have to do it every day until the shape holds itself. That is what I learned. That is what my mother taught me. That is what I am trying to give back to whoever is listening. My babies were easy because their days were predictable. Their days were predictable because I made them that way. I made them that way because I believed it was my job.